in real life.
Welcome back to another episode of Duel Alliance with myself, Alicia Solomon, and Megan Hines, where we discuss everything the challenge. We are back this week to discuss season 38, Ride or Dies, or not, depends on what happens. But we have a special guest today. We have Grant here, a Twitter mutual that we love. Grant, introduce yourself. Say hello.
What's up? My name is Grant. You probably know me as G on Twitter. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
You're welcome.
It's with joy. I've been following Grant on Twitter for probably a year over so a year because I of Big Brother stuff and then also the challenge stuff. His tweets always have me cracking up, so I'm so happy.
No, I love your Twitter too. Follow you back as well.
So we're gonna get into this episode. There's a lot happening in this episode, so we're gonna hit some of the big things that happened. Normally, we just go through every little thing. We're gonna hit like the big things that happened. So big storyline with Fessy and Mariah. We're gonna start there. We start the episode with Fessy saying that he's relieved that Nelson saved him from last week, and that he was very frustrated with how he hasn't performed very well, and he thought that he really had this challenge stuff in the bag, basically.
Oh, Lord.
What
Okay.
did y'all think of that scene? Because when I was watching it, I'm like, because it's the same thing that we always hear from him. It's just he was crying this time about it. Because I swear, because Fessy comes on these. That's the thing though, because I liked Fessy when he was on Big Brother, but when he got on to the challenge, it's like his head is just 10 times what it was ever on Big Brother. But I feel like I'm like you've had plenty of opportunities to win, and you can't be mad at nobody but yourself. And
I
he
feel
Yeah.
like he,
a D1. He will let you know he a D1 football athlete. But
I
it's
feel
like,
like, yeah,
what else? What else do you have to offer? You played enough of these games to know it's not just the physicality; it's the mental part too. You need to be like reading books and playing them little trivia games on your phone to try and figure out where you lack, which is that as your weakness to see how you can finally win a game.
it's also the political side of it too. Like he thinks that he has the physical stuff, but like he's not great of a political player. He just thinks his size will let him get by. When politics is one of the key things of being in the challenge, and he doesn't have that. Like he just thinks, oh, that's because I'm big and bad. I can be everybody. Okay, but your connection to people and how you play the game mentally, that's key. He doesn't have that. He's never had that. He had somewhat of like Corey and Nelson when he came in, but that got him so far. But by himself, it gets him really nowhere.
Hmm.
I think Fessy's just living in Fessy world, and he's been trying to bring us into it, and it's just I don't want any parts of it. I get you I get annoyed with Fessy every time that he comes up on my screen because it's just like, what do you bring to the table, sir? I feel like the first time we seen you in your final, you flopped. We seen you again, you flopped again. Now you're sitting here crying buku tears into your girl's flannel. I don't know what you want from us at this point. Like, I don't. What do you want us to say? Like, what do you want us to say? Like, be fucking for real. What do you want us to say?
Man, right? Because yeah, you hit on it. Because I'm tired of hearing it. Like I'm tired of watching him each season get on here and give us some bitch fit about why he has not won every other season. And it's like, and that's the thing with the Big Brother people. They get on the show and they like stick to each other. Well, apart from Amber, they don't like to include her and stuff, but she's the only one that's won besides Casey. But I don't even like Casey either because I feel like she's just boring. I don't want to see her on the show. But when it comes to Festi, like what Megan said, like adjust your strategy. Like you come in playing the same game every single season with the same people. And then not only that, like you said, when he comes in with Corey and Nelson, but you saw how he dicked Nelson over a couple seasons ago, even though Nelson's the right person to do it, because as we saw last week, he still had Fessie's back. Where if it was me, I would have remembered exactly how you treated me then, and I would have made sure that you went in against a tough team to get you out. But yeah, Fessie, I don't want to hear it no more. Like you have not changed your strategy, so you should be mad at yourself if you can't win.
Yeah. And then we go to Bananas talking to Nani about how they've been flying under the radar thus far this season. Granted, they won a week, they're pit in, and he was like, "Well, no one's gunning for us." And then I was like, "Have I lost my edge?" I'm like, "Bananas, be quiet,"
And I feel
because
like it's kind of, I don't know why, but it's because it's not early, but I still feel like it's kind of early for them for some reason. I feel like they haven't really. Well, I mean, they've been. When did they come into the season? Like the second or third week?
yeah,
I think, yeah, I think they did probably 2 weeks, and then they started to bring like the people back in,
Yeah.
like week by week.
I don't know. Maybe Bananas has lost his touch. She is getting up there in age, but then again, you got Nani as your partner. I don't know how y'all feel about her, but I feel like this season she got some type of, I don't know what kind of ego.
Nerve,
Yeah, like who are you?
gall, like,
And you can tell she thinks
girl.
she's so tough because she got Bananas attached to her, and she has this some type of aura with her, like she's some badass to be scared of. And it's just like, we know the minute you get in an elimination by yourself, you going home. Like that's just really what it is. But I don't know. I don't know what they deal is either because they should be roundhouse and the rest of these people. But we see.
I feel like it's like not that many people that really are actually even checking for them that much. Like Johnny's just there. Like he has like the resume, but I think they're all like everybody else is worried about everybody else. Like that's what's letting them kind of just be in the middle and like it's not do anything. Like they came in and made a splash, sure, cool. But now they're just like, okay, everybody else is just doing their own thing and
Mm,
they're in it but not in it at the same time. So
yeah.
They bring nothing. Johnny just turned 40 in the house. Nani has her teeth, and I don't know what they bring. Again, I just, what is this show? What is this show at this point?
But that's the truth though. This show, it's nowhere near as entertaining as it used to be. Like the earlier seasons were a different type of entertainment, but like the seasons like when Cam first got on to like maybe like the second War of the Worlds, that's when I feel like it stopped being entertaining to me. It got boring towards the end. And it's like they haven't changed up the casting either. And it's like you see these people are out here friends and like they're associating with each other in real life. That's the problem. Like they shouldn't be friends in real life. Like when they get on the show, they should be hating each other and actually hate each other after the show. Like,
Right.
but when you got Bananas and Nani, well, Bananas, he took them breaks, but Nani, people like her need a break. Like it's time to not come back for a good number of seasons and have some new people on.
she just needs to
Yeah.
retire. That's her time is over.
Not even a break.
Yeah,
Your time is up.
that's true though. She is not winning. She's had every opportunity. I swear they're trying to throw every type of obstacle in her way to let her win, but she still can't get it done.
She's allergic to winning.
She just can't win. It's not going to happen. But I like the fact, like I like them adding. There's certain people from this season I say that I like that they added, like Horacio. I like him. I like him as a competitor. Olivia, she's a good competitor, but I'll let y'all continue and see if we can get to her, and then I'll tell you more about her. But there's certain people this season that were introduced. I like Johnny and Raven. I like them too.
Hmm.
Both bring
Yeah.
something that the show needs.
Yeah.
Keep dipping in that pool of rookies.
Well, speaking of people that we've seen in forever, last couple of seasons, we're gonna get into the other big storyline that we got glimpses of was Tori and Jordan. They're
Boo.
For real. Ugh.
they were playing with one another, and Jordan was just talking about how like it's just easy to just get back and like have like that banter and stuff with Tori, even after everything that's happened, and Tori is just like getting emotional about a possibility of something even happening else. Meanwhile, we know that Nerys and Jordan are also having some type of situation as well.
That's right up Nerese's alley. Like
Uh, mm,
it's like that's textbook Nerese. Like she gonna find a way to make sure she can get a call.
Narice just go with anybody. She go with anybody. No,
Is she
Narice just goes with
horny? Is she ready
anybody. I just
to have? She's a trip.
right. Right.
I knew she would get it, but it's funny because Jordan is not her type. Essentially, her type essentially is like the Johnny or like Malcolm from her season, like the black dudes. So it's like when she going for Jordan, it's like it's clear why you chose him as your target for who you want to hook up with. Because you know he's a beast of a competitor. You know he typically does these challenges, and she probably thinking there might be an exit or some shit coming through, and that's her jackpot to the money. But I
Which
don't
is
know.
odd because he just came back. Like this is his first season back after doing All Stars to have his redemption arc. So it's like you chose the one person who really is kind of like now dipping his toe back into this whole thing, and you just want to hook yourself with this because Bananas was obsessed or like consumed with Mariah, so you couldn't really have that angle. So now you go with Jordan. It's just like, okay.
And that's interesting too, because I feel like I mean they kind of touched on it earlier in the season with Bananas and Mariah, but I feel like they really didn't give us much of a backstory with them two and how they even started. Because it's just like, well, maybe it's I don't know. I like Mariah too, but she just dull, so I can see why they probably haven't given her a story. Right? I like her, like I like watching her. Like I can tell she's a good competitor, but in terms of like giving you entertainment, she ain't gonna give you that, which I can respect too, because she ain't doing too much on the camera, and I respect those type of people. But if you ain't bringing nothing to the table, then I feel like you don't need to be here, aka Casey's sibling brother, who I didn't realize he was even on the show until this week.
And neither did she.
Yeah, no.
Neither did she. Child. I'm
Shit.
sure the mother didn't either.
She got two, but Casey's boring too, though. Casey is only, I feel like Casey's only in the rotation because she's attached to Nani and she actually is a competitor. But
Yeah.
other than that, I can't stand watching her either.
We call them the futon and the couch.
Basically, shit, that's the truth. I swear, man. I can't. The casting is so terrible nowadays. Like they put a little bit of, they put like maybe one or two different characters in there that are actually worth watching. But I'm tired of the recycling of the same people. And then just to get back on what you even talked about, Tori and Jordan, I don't even like Tori either. Like she's annoying to me. I can't stand how just overhyped she is. Even though she seems to kind of be dialing that back, she ain't doing too much in the confessionals like she used to when she first got on here. But I guess I don't know if we're gonna get further deep into what happened to them later on in the episode, but I'm gonna let you have that because I might have something to add.
Okay. So now we head into the daily challenge, which is their mini final midway the season. They said, hey, it's a mini final, and it is called All or Nothing, where the challengers will be racing through a 6-mile course, hitting various checkpoints along the way, all while hauling a heavy plank throughout it. And the winners of this daily challenge will have a new power that TJ teased last week, which before I even like said thought about that, I'm like, I wonder what it is, but I'm like, I hope it helps in some way. I don't think now that we actually know what it was, it really helps at all.
If I don't know, I feel like the twist. I feel like the twist did what it was supposed to. Well, I don't know if it did it, but it seemed like it could possibly. I feel like the twist was made to kind of like put some cracks in the ride or dies. I don't know because I feel like towards the end we'll see because it seems like the winner of the challenge started to realize and see who her partner, her ride or die was. We'll see what happens. The twist, I
Yeah.
don't know, but I don't think I don't. I feel like I guess I like it because it's going to add a little bit of I guess, a challenge in terms of the alliances and how they move. I don't know if it's going to be successful or not, but splitting up the partnerships, I think is smart because we can see how they stand on their own and see how they strategize. Because as we see with Horacio and Olivia, they were like the hot targets pretty much the entire season. They keep trying to throw them in to hope that they might go home, but hopefully this will give them some power to see how to get the ones that have been throwing them in out. But I don't know.
Yeah. So we get into the actual daily challenge, and immediately after getting through the first part of the one, Anissa's like, I'm not the fastest chick on the field. And I'm like, we know that.
Girl, tell us something we don't know.
She
Like,
irritates me.
tell us the sky is blue, girl.
And Lisa, she makes me mad because it's like for her, because I used to love her back in the day. But it's like when you come on these shows and stuff, and they like you can be a thicker girl, but you can tell Anissa does not put any effort into coming on these shows. Like you can
Okay,
at least train,
say it louder. Say it
like you
louder.
can train to at least get your endurance up. Like you don't have to be a twig like damn Nani. There are girls out here who are thick that can really get down and really run and have that stamina. There's healthy women that are her size. And it's like you can tell she's not healthy because she don't work out. She don't try to get herself prepared for these challenges. And then she get on here and get mad when she don't get to the end. It's like, yeah, we know you can win eliminations, but you know, because you've done 50,000 of them, the show is not just about eliminations. You got to get in that final and you got to win that final. And that requires endurance. And she don't have it. It's crazy to me. She pisses me off because it's like you could literally win these competitions if you want to, but she don't want to.
No, she
With the
just wants
right
to check.
partner.
She just wants to check at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And her former partner in Fessy was setting the pace for everybody, with him and Raya getting out ahead of the group. And they make it to the first checkpoint where they have to move down respective lanes and on barrels and not touch the ground. So this is like Floor's Lava meets Pirates, I guess.
I kind of like I don't know. I kind of like that portion of the mini final, even though Nani and Bananas, I don't know what they thought they were doing.
Okay, so what were they doing? Because at one point they're sitting like on the three barrels and they literally are just shaking and moving their backs like if the three barrels is gonna roll with them. And I'm
That's
like, what is the thought process behind this?
and even if it was to continue to roll, it's no guarantee it's gonna roll straight. Like
Like
if
you're gonna
you're gonna
fall
roll,
through.
yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell are they doing? And it's like for them, like I said, for them two, y'all have done a million of these challenges. You should have the strategy. Everybody else had the strategy, the same kind of strategy, and they're the only ones doing that. And I'm like, that was the dumbest thing that you could have possibly done.
Like the way that they had the barrels trying to roll wasn't gonna work. If they had tried to make it going just right in front of them and not have it like vertically but not horizontally, that would have worked if they just like had the control of it. But
Yeah.
just having it horizontal and trying to move, that's not doing anything.
It
Like
was
they literally just were horrible this whole final mini final. It was
just
bad.
They did not understand gravity. They didn't understand the final. Like, I don't know what was happening. And it was the fact that once again, we have Nani and Johnny fighting in the middle of a challenge. And I'm just like, at some point, y'all have to be serious. Like, I don't understand what is happening between the dynamic. Like, I get it that you guys know each other for a long time. Y'all have this connection, but it's just like, what are y'all doing? Like in the middle of a mini final, by the way, which Nani, you've never won a final. Johnny, you're back because I don't know, probably your NBC check dried up. Like, what is going on with this between the two of you that y'all can't get serious? Like the last time Johnny was joking, I was laughing with him. I'm sorry. Like I thought it was funny. Like it was the puzzle where they couldn't figure out the words, and I really laughed. Like I had a hearty laugh at Johnny. Like she was getting so mad and I don't know what it
yeah.
was, but I just was dying laughing. But this time it's like, okay, this is supposed to be the halfway mark for y'all to kind of adjust yourself, to kind of check yourself between you and the rest of the cast, and y'all are just playing around.
Yeah, literally that. And it's like them two, this ain't y'all's first season like playing a game together as a duo. Like y'all played a full season on X's too. Y'all should be the ones with the advantage, knowing how to communicate because you had to do that on that season. And I think didn't they get sent home like yeah, they got sent home early by Nia
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Leroy.
Yeah,
And
by Naya. Mm-hmm.
they kept winning them redemptions and got back in the game. So like y'all have basically experienced everything that you really can on a season. So why y'all can't communicate is beyond me. Cause like Nani doing all that fucking arguing and screaming and doing all that stupid shit that she be doing. It's just like, why are you wasting all that energy and time doing that when you can literally just, hey, check this, let's do this and go. But again, Nani again, getting in her own way. That's the only reason why you can't win, because you just don't want to win. Crazy.
I don't know. Like Nani is just always talking. And there's a tweet that you tweeted, but I'm gonna get to it later. Um, but it's just funny because thinking about just thinking about it just made me laugh. But
Oh,
next we had Jordan and Nisa, who were also last to arrive to the first checkpoint. They were also being very bad. It is like because Anissa was being slow, and Jordan was matching that pace of her, and they were just do whatever.
They were pacing themselves. Slow and steady wins the race. Whatever that means.
not when you got people like Horacio and you got
Fessy and Mariah.
right.
Yeah.
Be able to catch up to them, like especially if they get as far as they did. Like no, it's just
And yeah, so both like Bananas and Nani had touched the ground and Jordan touched the ground. So both of those teams had to redo that thing. And but the first team to actually complete this checkpoint, surprisingly, was Nelson and Reese.
they shock me when they win challenges for some reason. Because Maurice, like she's thin, but she ain't athletic. Like she works out sometimes, but like you can tell she just be in there just to like look good. She don't give me like athlete. Nelson, physically he looks like an athlete, but you watch Nelson run, you can tell he ain't like Corey. Like Corey played football in college. Like Nelson, you could tell Nelson is just he all popcorn muscles. But I don't know when they win challenges and stuff, because he's won a couple dailies now, even though both times I don't know what the hell he thought he was doing, and Norris ain't doing nothing to help the case. Like she just sitting there letting him run it, and he don't even know what he doing. Like half the shit he be doing, I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking?
He doesn't think. He doesn't think. He's I don't know.
Challenged.
You know what?
You see his confessionals and stuff. Like when he be in his confessionals, his eyes,
Okay.
it's like dead back there. And then like
You say it. You say it.
Man, I'm telling you, you could tell he's the one that get on that camera and it's like, I'm about to give them a show. I'm about to just
right.
And it's like it's so cringy. I hate it because I used to root for him, but every season he's back, I'm like, man, fuck him. He gotta go. Like, cause I typically root for us. Like I root for the
right.
I can't.
Right.
He's too embarrassing. So I'm like,
agreed.
Right when I decided to be like accept that I was a fan of his, he embarrasses me, and I had to return the card because I cannot. Like he makes me laugh a lot, but he cannot make any good decisions. Not for himself, at least. So that's when I was like, I'm done. I cannot. And then yeah. But right behind him and Reese were Fessy and Mariah, and they're off to the races. And then Kenny got his first confessional ever of these last 9 episodes. The first time we see him talking in confessional was this episode.
That's wild when you think about it. Like you've gone 9 episodes and they didn't even think to put you on by yourself.
And
easy.
I didn't even remember the confessional. What did he say?
I don't remember what he said either, but that's the first time I remembered he was even.
I know. Right.
Who was this? I'm like, oh, well, yeah, partner.
Yeah, because it was right after they had finished. He had said something about their progress and whatever. I'm like, all right, this is just funny. Like, I still am like, wait, he's still here? Like,
I don't think there's ever been a challenger that's literally as forgettable as he is. There's been some forgettable ones, but I don't think there's ever been one this forgettable to where clearly the editors forgot he was there.
His own sister did.
They didn't even think to put him in there. Shit. I thought, but that's the shocking thing. I was like, if they end up getting eliminated, I thought that'd be the first time we see a confessional from him. Because you know, like the elimination episodes, they typically give like 1 million confessionals to the person going home. That's when I thought we would see him.
Right.
No. And then Olivia was also struggling and stressing with her and Horacio being in 7th place. While as they were going down the track, she was just talking and talking, and you can see Horacio just starting to shut down. And it's like I can't. He's like I can't really communicate as best as my ability. And she was just talking and talking, and they couldn't get it together, which really shocked me because they have been working so well thus far. But I don't know what the heck happened to the point where this disconnect just happened.
And I
Let's
feel
have a
like,
little breakdown. Let's have a little Olivia breakdown because
go ahead,
I
start it.
honestly think that when we seen last week from them screaming at Olivia and Horacio and them not even hearing each other and them essentially winning because they were yelling across the other contestants, I would say, was yelling at them to do what they were doing. I
Hmm.
just think that between that and then also the previous 2 weeks where they were in the elimination, I don't know how much of a competitor that I'm really seeing about Olivia now. Like, I don't know what it was, but this episode, it really made me be like, is it her or is it Horacio that was carrying her that made me think that it was her? And now I'm really seeing who you are. And I'm just like confused because you're giving me nothing but fillers and mouth and lashes, and I'm not really hearing or seeing anything else besides that. And I'm seeing Horacio just be like, "All right, I'm tired of this bitch." Like, it,
Yes.
I was like, "Damn," because I was rooting for Olivia and Horacio. I'm like, they're good rookies, blah blah blah. But as I'm watching this, I'm like, is it me or is she just there? And it's Horacio the whole time.
And that's that. I think I tweeted something along those lines too, because the way she was acting throughout this entire challenge, she was the whole like talking, like you said, Megan. She was talking the whole time. Me in general, I'm not exactly like Horacio. I would have said something. I'd have been like, okay, look, I'm back here struggling. Like I'm tired of you talking too. If anything, we need to change spots. You could tell that he was getting tired of holding it from that position because he was saying like he was trying to get it in the middle and he wasn't able to get it in the middle. And I'm like, from the back, it's harder to. I feel like from the back, it's harder to carry it because you got to get a positioning too, and then you got to carry the load. And the way she was carrying it, it was kind of like it was tilting back to him. You could tell he was getting tired. But like what you said with Olivia, though, I've been sitting there thinking the same thing. And a lot of the fans be hyping her up like she's some big badass. And I'm like, yes, she's a bigger girl in terms of like she should be able to beat these girls in a lot of physical eliminations. And what you said is exactly what I've been thinking from the beginning. Horacio, in my opinion, has carried their team because a lot of the eliminations, in my opinion, he's won the majority of the elimination by himself. Like the elimination that they had against Johnny and Raven, yes, she beat Raven, but Raven is not in her weight class. She's taller and bigger, and Raven is smaller, so she should beat her. And it was like a hardball thing. But the way she is, the way she's acting and stuff in that whole situation, it pissed me off because I'm like, she didn't give none of that energy to the dude that she's sleeping with, which is Nelson, who put your ass in the elimination last week, and you was supposed to go home, and you was about to go home if the whole entire cast did shout for y'all to win. Because Jay and Michelle, was it Jay and Michelle that went home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They was getting the shit together. The only reason why they lost is because they were screaming over them and they couldn't hear each other. So I'm like, in terms of the Horacio and Olivia duo, I'm definitely more a Horacio fan than Olivia. And I wanted her to do well, but like you said, I'm not seeing anything that's super impressive. Like Mariah's more impressive than she is to me.
Mm-hmm.
She's Olivia is giving me Jenna vibes. And
Overhyped.
Mm.
Overhyped.
yeah, and they call her Barbie, they call Jenna Barbie Beats, and I thought like Olivia would take that little mantle and elevate it because I thought she would do good at least, but no, like it's been. I'm still rooting for her a little bit because I like her, but I just want her to just shut up sometimes because it's not helping at all.
She just like her boyfriend too. I feel like in them confessionals, I feel like she be performing too. Them shit, what she be saying ain't natural. Because when she was on her original show, I don't know if y'all watched The Love Island when she was on it.
Yeah.
She was notorious for jocking Cachet's lingo. Like Cache would talk a certain way, and then she eventually starts talking that way. Olivia, I see what she's doing. I'll say it too. I'll be saying she out here performing. That's just what it is.
Mm.
Yeah, she performing.
Is she not? She not the only one on the show who does performative arts. So
Hmm.
I mean,
And then one's got to go. You got to stop putting them on there.
right,
It's so
right,
transparent. You can see it. And when you can
right.
see it, it just takes you out. It makes you cringe.
Yeah.
And as the rest of challenge went on with the first checkpoint, people started to be aligned. Bananas and Nani finally got the communication together. They were right behind Devin and Tori, who were solid. And Jordan and Nisa finally started their trek to the next checkpoint. And that was the end of that one. We got to the second checkpoint where they got to sabotage others with their sleds. And then they had to grab their sleds and take it to the other side of the field and complete the puzzle, which honestly was easy. That little stat that was easy. I could have done that within 3 seconds.
Yeah. That to me was the easiest part of the whole entire final. I feel like nobody should have had too much of an issue with that.
Oh, but wait, someone did.
Shit.
But Fessy and Mariah were able to solve the puzzle within 5 seconds. And once they did that, since Devin and Tori were right behind them, Devin was baffled that he did that. And I'm like, sir, everybody can do something at least. Like that was one point I'm like, Fessy did that. Like they did it in 5 seconds, like really quick.
And I think why Devin was he was shocked was because it was something that wasn't physical. And that's the thing too. I'm like, did Fessy, because I can't remember it right now, but I'm like, maybe the editing might have. But then again, I'm thinking back now as I'm saying it. Didn't Mariah like tell him to like do it because she couldn't think about it in terms of like I guess geography and stuff. She couldn't remember maps or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
the next puzzle
Yeah,
when they went over, he got it from south to north. Like
yeah,
she was just like, I never look at maps. I don't know anything, and Fessy was able to do it, which
shocking.
shout out to him, right? Because like I wouldn't put my money on him.
Hell no, me either. Shit, I would have thought Mariah would have been the one to do it, but
Right.
yeah, I got to give him his props. I give him his props when he gets it.
It was his strategy that was the funny part on that one because he said he was talking to DMing a girl in Sydney.
I know. I'm like, that's random. Like, what is the correlation to that? I'm like, okay, so what does that have to do in terms of that? But then he said didn't he say like he looked on Google Maps to see where Sydney was in front? Whatever.
But in the second one with the symbols, they got it first and they were off to the races. Nelson and Larice had a good lead on people too, but he messed up for both of them with this second checkpoint. And Devin and Tori finished for them. They're off to the races. And when Kenny and Casey finished theirs, Casey was like trying to give Nani a hint, and Nani cannot pick up that hint.
That annoys me. I'm tired of them. That's why when it comes to couples on the show, if you're not like on a team, I don't want you on the show together because I don't want to see that. Because that's how Nani and Casey are, and especially in the past couple seasons, that's why they both end up at the end of the season. Because nobody's gonna go against them for some odd reason. But
Which is like, why? Why don't you just pick them apart and just get rid of one or the other? Get rid of the stronger person who is Casey. Because Casey is the one that's carrying Nani if they're like together. So get rid of Casey so that you can just go against Nani because you know she's not going to give anything.
exactly.
I don't understand the logic behind just trying to keep them both together. Like, we don't care about these people. I don't care to watch two of them. So it's like, get rid of them. Like, why are y'all trying to just hold on to this and be like, oh, I hate to do this. This is like this girlfriend, this love. Like, I don't care.
And that's what I'm saying. Like back in the day, they didn't give a fuck about that shit. Like the minute you came on the show being all lovey-dovey, gone.
They don't want first people to get out.
Yeah. And that's the complete different with the, and that's the thing. I'll give it to some of the rookies too, because like Horacio and Johnny and Raven, they was trying to get him out. And then like when was it? I think it was last season or either the season before that when Michaela was on the show. Right. Her and Kels, those were two rookies that should have come back. I don't know if they got called back, but they should have came back because they was trying to get them out of there too. We need people like that on the show.
They did get called back, but Michaela's partner, Corey, got mad at her for not wanting to come back.
Wow.
And then
Corey
Kels was supposed
who?
to come.
Corey Lay?
Yes, they're
Oh
gonna be
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
partners.
Okay.
And then Kels was supposed to be on with Priscilla, but she didn't want to come back for this
I like
season.
her too, Priscilla, because I stopped watching halfway through that season, but then I went back and watched her. They said she had like a couple episodes where she was shining. Yeah, she was good too. I would have liked to see her back.
But yeah, next part. Oh yeah, they were just this checkpoint was just funny. But everybody else couldn't really get as much because we saw Bananas and Nani still not get it. They were left there by themselves, big chilling.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I think this is like I said before, the last 2 weeks or whatever that episode was when they were joking around and Johnny had that moment with Nani, he was playing around with her. It was cool, funny, okay, cool. But then like this was just like y'all are supposed to be this big bad team. Johnny, you're a 7-time champ. You're supposed to be this top-notch challenger. This is your career at this point. This is what you do. Nani, you are following right behind him and you've been doing this for the past 10, 11 years. This is what you guys do. And the fact that you couldn't figure out a puzzle, which had like about 5 simple ass pieces on it, and y'all were just sitting there struggling, like to the point where he laid down, was making jokes, being like, I'll just let you do it. And Nani's just like, Johnny, why don't you help me out? And she's trying to peep to see what's happening. Didn't hear shit that Casey said about the little tip that she gave her. It was really just like embarrassing because now you guys are going to still continue on to do this challenge and you still feel like you need to win. Because this whole time, Donnie been running around and running her teeth like, oh, we are winning. I need to win. And this is my first challenge. And like, still have not won anything. Like, what is happening here?
Fred.
It's a mess. Just they were very unserious. At the end of it, when they finished it out, they were just he had dragged her by the sled off to the races, just chilling. Like they're just having a good old ball. I'm like, guys, if you're with elimination this week, y'all could have been in the zone. I would have thrown y'all in.
And they probably would go home. Because I feel like with everybody else left, Nerese might be the only person that Nani could possibly win against. All them other girls, I can see beating her. Mm-hmm. Johnny, he's older now, and I'm pretty sure because even when he was in his prime, he wasn't the strongest dude there.
He did not win a lot of eliminations either.
No.
So get out of here. He could easily got out of here.
Exactly.
And all the while, Fessy and Mariah, they had their big lead. Fessy was really wanting to show that he is the best out of the group, even though like this is a mini final. He's like, I haven't won anything, but I would have shown him the best. Okay, all right, cool. They made it to the third checkpoint, and that's where they do the ties on the cities from south to north. And they got it immediately because of Fessy's strategy of how he figured that out. And then there, the path finish line, TJ sounded the horn, and Devin was again, like we said earlier, was flabbergasted that Fessy won. And Olivia was pissed off that Horacio left her when he literally just shut down his did one no parts. And she was crying on Amber's shoulder.
And that right there, I was like, what? Like, be glad that he walked away and then cut your ass out. Because, like, if it was me and I'm pissed off, and I can't even tell you if he was even really pissed because he didn't seem like he was mad per se. Maybe he was frustrated with himself because he said that he's the type of person, like he said when he was growing up playing soccer, he would get mad at himself when they would lose because he would feel like he didn't do enough to win. So if anything, to me, the way he walked off upset looked to me like he might have been upset with himself because he felt like he probably could have done more to win the challenge. But her flipping out and then crying to them, it's just like, where's your communication skills, Olivia? You should go talk to your partner. Like, your partner walked out, go check up on him and let him know how you feeling and see how it works from then. but she want to go run and go cry and have a whole moment on TV, and that's what she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care about her. Move on.
I ain't a fan. Like I tried to like her coming in, but she doing too much.
Yeah. I still have 25%. Holding on. I'm just holding on a little bit. I need a glimmer of hope. Like that's what I need. And then now since Fessy and Mario won, they have the power for TJ's twist, where the pairs will be split into teams opposite one another, and there will be team captains of each team and have to decide who will be on their teams at the zone later on in the episode. And Nerese said that Fessy would take over their conversation with like him and Mariah's conversation about who they would want because he would bulldoze it for who he would want. He wanted the bigger people, and we literally saw that. But it was just
Yeah,
funny how she said that when Nelson literally did the same thing to her not too long ago.
and she was mute. She ain't do shit about it.
She
That's the thing.
probably knows the feeling.
That's
She saw
Nerese,
Mariah and herself.
right? And Nerese is that type of person too. She's the type. What she says is true, but she don't walk that walk. Like she'll say it and act like she'll get on Twitter and she'll get on Instagram talking big, but when you on the camera, it's a completely different situation. Because she even got punked by Farrah on X on the Beat. You
Whew,
let
that part was funny.
throw your J's in the toilet and you won't do shit about it. Talking about something, if you don't get this bitch, I'm gonna beat her ass. Well, she just threw your J's in the toilet. What you gonna do about that? She ain't do shit.
Nothing. Nothing.
Oh my god,
And
Nerese.
she kicked her with her sun don't shine either.
I
That's the
know.
funny part.
Like Nerese be getting punked on TV, but yeah, but in that whole scene with them, Mariah, she did more than I thought she would. I thought she would just completely lay down and let him do whatever in that deliberation. But she kind of stood her ground and was like, "This is what I want. Like I want Jordan. I want bananas. We'll see what happens."
Yeah. And we did see before that happened, Horacio apologized to Olivia for how he reacted after the daily. And then Fessy said that, told Casey that he'll leave Mariah in the dark with his decision. And I'm like, I really wrote in my notes, Messy Fessy is back.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Never
this is who he is.
left.
Say that he ain't never left.
He
just
never
showing up.
left. Like, where did he go? Like, he just had the ability to have TV time and show his true self. The fact is, Nelson should have put him in last week so that he could possibly get eliminated. Now he won and got power. He's just going to take this and just drag this on until he gets eliminated himself before he even gets a chance to win a final, because we know that's happening. So it's just like, it's the same thing over and over with Fessy and just different packages. Last time it was Nelson and Corey. The other time it was Josh. This time it's Mariah. And it's with everyone that he's quote unquote friends with, which is actually just the worst part of it, because everyone is still quote unquote friends with him. Like they're still cool with him, but they see how he moves. It's not like it's just a relationship where even Colleen got on freaking Twitter and Instagram was talking about how he ghosted her and whatever happened with that little situation. But like, it's not even a relationship he's doing this with. It's with friends. And that just shows the integrity and the type of person he is. He's been shitty from the start. He's going to continue to be shitty. And I really just don't have like the patience to keep watching Fessy do the same over and over in different packages.
Facts, all of that. Like all of that. He's the type of person I don't have them type of friends in my life. But those are the type of people, because he's that type of friend that somebody eventually has. Because we all got that one friend that's like a silent hater. And you know they're a silent hater. Like they're the ones that watch everything you do, but don't ever want to like anything, don't ever want to comment, don't ever want to support you. I watch them and keep them at a distance. Like you a friend, but you ain't really a friend. He's that type of person. You can tell, like, he looks at how Nelson is on the show, or he looked at how Corey was on the show. And you can tell he was low-key jealous of that shit. And you saw how he was with Horacio, sitting there trying to act like Horacio was some afterthought when it came to him. And it's like, no, people don't really want to fuck with you like that, which is why they went to Horacio first. And because obviously Horacio had that girl at home, Laurel was just trying to get laid. She came back to you. And then he laying in the bed talking about Horacio when you laying in the bed with Laurel. It's like,
Right.
look so
Like you're actually the boyfriend number 2, not
yeah,
Horacio.
like
But
for real, like Fessy, he's a big character flaw. Everything about him is just wrong.
Yeah. I'll just remind me of a tweet that happened. I'll get to it in the tweets. There are so many funny tweets about the episode, but I'll get to some of them later on. But back to the love triangle. Um, Jordan said he was looking out for himself, and Tori got to deal with it. And Tori had to walk out of the room of seeing him and Maurice cuddling, and she was livid. She was like, "I've done so much work, and this is just triggering to me." I'm like, "Ma'am, you you are the last person to be talking about this because we didn't we just see you on a couple of years ago on it was 30 when she came in with Derek, and once
Mhm.
Derek got eliminated, her ass was up Jordan's butt."
That's a fact. And and that's the thing too, because like she did that on national television, and then she went back after. Well, it was rumored that her and Jordan were still together when she was with Fessy. And then this is like you can't get mad because I mean it was. I don't even know if they was Jordan and Tori fooling around earlier in the season. I feel like they were, but regardless, like if you didn't put no stamp on it and you didn't get back with him, you can't get mad at him for entertaining the Reese because he's single. Like and Tori, the whole explosion that she had, I felt like she was just doing too much. It's just like what is the whole point? And you can't. She's the type to me that seems like if she can't have you, she don't want nobody else to have you. And it's like
right.
you clearly ain't doing the work that you claiming you did on yourself. You ain't doing enough of it.
Call Iyanla because you need to fix it. It's not working.
That's
It's not healed at all.
for
At all.
real
At all.
crazy.
And then we go to Bananas talking to Mariah about what he fears that Fessy would do and making a power imbalance on his team and definitely giving her the leftovers. And Mariah still had hope that Fessy would not do anything to hurt her, but that didn't happen. And we get to deliberation, and Mariah suggests that he get Casey and Anissa, and she gets Jordan and Kenny. Now, and then she was holding hope that she would get Bananas. He could have let her have Bananas and Jordan. He didn't need Bananas on his team.
Mm-hmm.
But Fessy is who he is, like we're saying, and he doesn't want her to have nice things either. At the end, I feel like Mariah, like she shouldn't have to have pick between Jordan and Bananas, but she made her decision and she stood on that, and she has to live with that. Like no matter how the teams sorted out, it is what it is. You chose Jordan over Bananas. That's just what it is. Now, Fessy, on the other hand, was moving out of his own trying to be his own whatever in that moment, but also malicious because he knew what the relationship was between Mariah and Bananas. And honestly, him getting Anissa, I feel like was a prize enough. Like the fact that she chose Jordan and he had to get Anissa, I feel like he was like, all right, girl, now this is too much now. Like I can't really take her on, so I'm gonna take Bananas too. And it's just like
Mm-hmm.
I get it, but at the end of the day, I don't think that she was trying to look out for his best judgment. He's looking out for himself as always. And it's sad that she had to learn it out the hard way in that moment when you have to make a difficult decision and move within your best interest. And I feel like the show, which is called Ride or Dies, is like, at this point, is this even the show? Because there's no more Ride or Dies. And now people are just, it's every man for themselves, which is what this show always does. At the end, it always picks people out and weeds people out. And you see who true friends are and how everything kind of develops. But Mariah, this is what you signed up for. This is why he needed you on TV to embarrass you. Sorry to say.
Facts, all of that.
It was just hard to see. Like, and she tried to stand the ground, but this man was like looking at her like, "Oh, you think you about to run up on me?" I was like, No, you're not. I'm like, sir, y'all supposed to be quote unquote friends. That you claim you brought her into this. You just
Mhm.
won't leave her by the wayside because it's the game. But y'all still at the end of the day are ride or dies. How does that work?
And you saw how fast he switched up. It's like the minute it happened, it was like I'm not even thinking about her no more. Like sink or swim, Mariah. And that's how he was. And I'm like, once we get to the teams, I got my opinions because I feel like somebody shook out better than the other one,
Ooh.
honestly. But we'll see.
And so, yeah, at this point, she was like, I don't know if I can trust him, and they had to do a reset to figure out the rest of the teams because the rest of how the teams are going to be set up because they're at a stalemate. And she was like, okay, we got to redo this because they weren't getting anywhere. And at the end of the day, this team still are imbalanced, but they are better. They are some. You have some people have brains, people who are smart on either side, depending on who you ask. But yeah, and then we go back the final Tori and Jordan talk for episode where Tori said that she was pissed once again. Um, and Jordan was like, "This is how we were the last couple months of our relationship, just fight." And he didn't want that. And she was like, "Well, you should have been laying in my bed naked, cuddling and stuff." Girl, he felt comfortable. And I saw people on Twitter just be like, he should have been doing that, messing her feelings. They broke up. They
Okay,
should have got
time out.
closure.
No, she is a grown ass lady. Let's
Yeah,
stop. Let's not even babysit people at this point. I
exactly.
understand her. I'm not even going to talk about her mental state because that's one thing she needs to handle that and deal with that all fine and dandy. I'm all for people getting themselves together in that way. However, comma, the man you used to date comes back on the show. Okay, cool, fine, dandy. He clearly looked like he didn't want nothing to do with you. Let's be real. He did not want to be around you. He didn't want to really talk to you. He really didn't want to mess with you. But we seen in the editing, I don't know, this is what they showed me. In the editing, oh, come in my bed, lay in my bed, come cuddle with me, lay in the bed with me. Oh, okay, it's Jordan. She's freaking moaning, whining, and carrying on. Okay. Now Jordan is just going with the flow, moving and riding, going with the waves. Okay. But he's not really trying to get back. And every single time we seen them, it was always her putting in the effort to try to make it seem like it was something more than what it was, which is very much cringy to the fact that because it's the complete opposite of everything that she was talking about with her healing herself and getting herself back and mentally strong and doing all this inner work and the trauma and all this other shit that she was trying to talk about that she did. And then the minute he comes back in her life, she freaking folds like a origami paper that I've never seen in my life. Like,
Mhm.
bro, you can't have it both ways. And the fact that she was yelling at him because he was doing something in front of her, ma'am, you live in a communal space with this man. Where is he going to go? Where is he gonna go? In your bed? Because he already was there. Okay, now he's on to the next. I don't know what she wanted from him, but it was just really hard to listen to her yell and get mad when A, they're not together. B, you get him how you lose him. Okay, we seen how you flip flop around and move and shake in real life. Okay, so let's not act like we like girl. We know you. We've seen your paperwork. We know your reports. Okay, it's okay that you do what you do. But don't come to us and play in our face as if though he's the bad guy, because he is a bad guy. Okay. I'm not talking about her. I'm just talking about in general. But however, come on, girl. I like, come on.
And I will quote a one of my favorite Big Brother Canada players, Victoria. You signed up for this. Like you signed up for this show. You know there's a possibility that they will get him on this show just to fuck with you. And look what happened. And like you said, she opened the door. When he walked in, he was like, "Yeah, I want her to. I want the best for her. If she wins, she wins. I would love that." She was the one that approached him first. She was the one that wanted to have that conversation. She was the one that wanted him in the bed. Like you said, you can't get mad whenever he just goes and does it because it's something comfortable. But still, he don't want to be with you. So obviously, whenever he sees somebody here like Nerese, who's an attractive girl, if she feeling him, what's he supposed to do? Like he a single man, he can do what the fuck he want to do. It just because you there don't mean he don't like he can't. It doesn't mean that he can't entertain her. So she can't be mad at nobody but herself because you're the one that gave yourself that false hope, thinking that there might be something still there. Clearly, it's not. So get mad at yourself, scream at
Like,
yourself.
there's always gonna be love between both of them, obviously. But after that one conversation, there should have been closure. Y'all could have just moved on and just been cordial. Y'all,
Mm.
you should not have been. You should have decided I'm gonna dip back and get in this bed. No, if you're done with him, you're done with him, and move on. And he is. I get y'all's engaged. I get it. Okay, I
Yeah.
get it. But at the end of the day, y'all are grown and y'all can do whatever the fuck y'all please. And that's
Mm.
what he's doing. You should have got your closure and moved on.
Move
But
on.
now you had a hope that y'all would try and rekindle something. That's not happening. There, he said it. We're not. I don't want to get back together with her. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just I'm tired of her. I've been tired of her, but she just pissed me off this episode. But we're gonna get into the zone where we decide the teams, and they have to do a flip a coin for the first pick. Fessy gets first pick, because he got the 50, and his first pick was his bestie, his true ride or die, and Casey.
Bestie and a Tessie.
Not shocking at all.
No. So that meant that Kenny is gonna go to Mariah's team, and Mariah had decided her first pick, and she decided to go with Jordan, which by proxy meant Anissa gets Fessy.
And the first thing he says when he sees Anissa is, "Don't be mean to me." What? You know, oh gosh, I truly can't with Fussy. I truly can't, because that's the first thing you see when you see that lady is, "Hey, don't be mean to me."
He's so
Wasn't you talking trash shit about her last week?
he's so
Oh.
fake. He's fake as hell too. It's just so much wrong with him. So much. He's so irritating.
Like, she's not the mean one. You are. Like, she was nothing but nice to that man. Even after they threw him in, she was still in his face like, "Give me a hug," and
He
you was like,
probably
"No."
he trying to set the tone because he know he gonna eventually start snapping on her because she ain't gonna perform to his standard, and he trying to let her know, okay, look, don't come for me.
Mm-hmm.
And Fessy had the next pick, and he decided to pick bananas, which meant by proxy,
It's
Mari
fucked
got
up.
Nani.
Which is fucked up because when you think about it, she let you pick Casey, who was your number one outside of her supposedly, but you couldn't let her pick her number one outside of you, which was bananas. Like he said, me and Fessy would have to fight. Like he would have to get touched. Like I'd be sick of him. Like he could not be around me. He's so
He's unserious. He is very unserious.
yeah.
And next, Mariah picks Amber, and Chauncey is put on Fessy's team, which is very interesting. I feel like, and Amber's a great person. I just feel like if Chauncey's on that team, he better be the ops and trying to sabotage a little bit for them.
I feel like he will be, because he was still giving static to Nelson, and when they had that conversation during the whole bar party, and they were trying to decide, like, well, what do you want to do? Like, when we have to come to the point where we have to play with each other, Amber is basically giving him the go ahead to be like, "Hey, I want you to choose yourself. You know, like, or whatever the situation is. But I feel like Chauncey has shown he has loyalty to her. And I feel like at the end of the day, whatever it comes down to, however this is really going to play out in the long run, he will be loyal to Amber. I can see him doing that.
And I like that pick for Mariah. I like her picking Amber because I feel like Amber, I feel like she don't get enough credit for herself as well. I feel like the hype that they give to Olivia or to the other Amber, that the little Amber that was on the season, the fans used to hype that little bitch up like God, I cannot stand her. But the type of energy they give to them type of characters on the show, they don't give to Amber because Amber, I feel like Amber, I want her to be tougher than she is, not cry all the time, not let these people keep walking all over her. But Amber performs. Like when she gets in them eliminations, she performs. We all know she's a threat to get in that final. When she's in that final, she's gonna win. But I like that pick for Mariah because I feel like the two of them are, in my opinion, the strongest girls on the show right now. So I'd like to see how they work together. Because so far, I feel like Mariah's picks, she has some good picks. I feel like she put together a pretty good team.
Yeah, because it's the brains are she got the brains, to be honest. Let's just say it. She got the brains. Fessy got the muscle, and a lot of people who just talk.
That's literally all was muscle, and it's just like that's not smart. Like she got a good group of brain,
well rounded.
Yeah, she got athletes and she got brain. But we'll let you get the rest of them out.
And well, I think not two people who are not brains who are. She has two layups on the team. I will say that.
Yeah, and Nerese.
Oh no, the other layup was Nani.
Shit, I forgot about her. Nerese is better than I forgot about her ass.
And so Fessy chose his bestie, other bestie, or whatever him and Nelson are. He chose Nelson as brother.
They're really frenemies.
Yeah.
In his mind they are, but in Nelson's mind, they still best buddies.
Nelson is he's bless his heart.
Please.
Because homeboy is mentally challenged. Because I'm like, how do you watch it? Because he's sitting and watch these episodes. How do you watch a season of him?
How do you watch yourself?
Like, how do you watch a season of him doing you like that and then come back and blindly just not even blindly because you saw it. You get back on here and do the same thing. Like, I would purposely make it my mission every season to make sure that Fessy loses. Every time. If I was losing.
Right.
Corey wouldn't let that shit slide.
No. I feel like Nelson needs somebody in his ear, like we saw last week.
Yeah. And that's the thing though, because the seasons where he ain't with Corey is seasons where he looks the stupidest.
Yeah. And Mariah then picked Horacio, which let Nelson's little girl go with him. And the final team, who was just standing there, Devin was like, I always get picked last. And
I'm sitting here thinking, who was the last team?
So Fessy ended up picking Tori for his team, and Devin went to Mariah's. And Devin was like, I always get picked last. Well,
yeah, you're not getting picked.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed, love. It's the same.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you sit and think about it, because she got Devin over there, she got Nerese. I'll give it to Nerese. Nerese got a little bit of a brain, and then you got who else? And then you got
Horacio,
Jordan over there, Mariah and Amber. That's 4 athletes. They can make a shake. I feel like in terms of, like you said, all around team, they got it. If they make it work. But if they lose, you better throw Kenny in there. You better throw Nani in there.
Right. First 2 to go. It's family. Get them family members out of here.
For real.
So yeah, those are the teams. And Devin knew it was not a fair fight. Just looking at the strength that Fessy had on his team, Horacio said there's a lot of years on Fessy's team, but not a lot of leaders. Because Fessy is in its own way. He's not gonna listen to Bananas. He's not gonna listen to Nelson. He's definitely not gonna listen to Tori, but he'll listen or Anissa, but he'll
I know,
listen to Casey. That's the only person he'll listen to on that team.
the only one.
Which is like, why do you want people? Well, it's Fessy. Let me preface by saying it's Fessy. So I can see why he wants people who he really don't really fool with, but will stand to try to at least win a final. And I really want to see how else this is gonna go, because to me, why change the recipe? I honestly, it was already tasting salty with the people you casted on the show, because it was giving, people were having vacations and other people were there to win. So that dynamic there was already a little funky to me, but now trying to split it into teams to try to make it a little more interesting or whatever, it's like, what else is gonna happen now? What else is there to come? Because between these two teams, I feel like if it has to be like team against team, or if there's something else that they put in there where some, if the person loses and they have to throw in their ride or dies or something that happens, it can get more interesting. But I don't feel like it will. Like, I feel like it will be more or less the same, and it's trying to just run people out to get the same people to win and put them in positions to get to the final.
Hmm.
Because we
Yeah, that's
saw in because we saw in the mini trailer, um, that Nelson knew like he was gonna get pushed out from his own team eventually, and that's gonna be funny because he don't really got nobody to trust on his team down the line when it gets to the nitty gritty. Uh, so that's gonna be funny, and I'm just me sitting there with my wine and popcorn, just laughing at this because this is what he signed up for and what he got with being friends with that man. And then Johnny's gonna be gunning for Devin. Granted, they're gonna be on different teams, so that's gonna be interesting. The cross team politics will be interesting with like how some ride or dies kind of like float, because like they can still talk to one another, but it's just like, how are we gonna like figure out if we're gonna plot against the people within a team and how that's gonna work? Because we've seen other team situations where like it works where you get out the weakest people for your own game, but with this, too many of these damn people are friends. So it's just a matter of fact, okay, who's gonna hit first?
yeah. And the way it's shaking out the last couple seasons, it looks like we're just gonna have to be sitting here with the same people that we know gonna possibly end up in the end, because they're gonna keep looking out for each other, and they're gonna try and throw Horacio and Olivia in there every single time and hope that they go home. But I don't know. I'm praying for a miracle. I don't see it happening, but I would like to think that one day somebody gonna wake up and get that vacation alliance up out of there. Because
Facts.
that's when it's gonna change. And that's the thing too. They need to. I feel like the casting directors need to go back to the drawing board. They done lost out losing Cam and Leroy. They done lost out losing like the Teresas. I'm glad Laurel came back, but Laurel came back this season, and in my opinion, disappointed me because she was kind of aligning with the people like them and keeping them together. It's just like we need people back that's gonna really shoot for them and not stop until they get them out of there.
Polly.
Right.
I don't even want him back. He's annoying as fuck. He's so irritating to me. Like I
You
fucking
know what? You know who I forgot was on this season?
uh,
Turbo. It literally just crossed my mind. Like, Turbo was on this season on like the first two episodes, and I'm I'm campaigning to bring Turbo back again. Even though he was chaotic,
bring him back.
I really liked him because he was not with the shits. And we need people like that who are just gonna stand their ground and just be like, I'm not gonna have any of it, and you people can go suck it. You know what I mean? Like, just,
Yo, get him back too.
yeah.
Theo and Turbo as a team, that would be because who was beating them to when it comes to like true eliminations and stuff. I feel like Turbo got dicked over because they had a partner. But yeah, Turbo, I need that type of energy on the show. Turbo's entertaining. He's crazy.
Yes.
But that is the end of the recap of the episode. We're gonna get into some of these tweets that I just want to get into because some of them have me cracking up, and I just wanted to elaborate on some of them as well. So the first tweet, Casey said she forgot her brother was here. So did we.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, that man, I'm like, he's still here.
The fact that she even got on TV and said that and was like, I mean, like, if I was her brother, I would look at you like, girl, why the
How
fuck
would
would
you
you
say
get on TV? Yeah, why would you say that? Like, you knew I was
it
here.
is?
You knew you brought me onto this show. Like, we came back together after we had COVID. Don't do me like that.
And for her to say that too, that's even terrible. That's even more terrible because she's boring too. Like she's forgettable to me.
Hello.
Shit, that whole family just boring. Clearly,
Yeah. Next tweet, wasn't Fessy on Twitter saying he could beat professional athletes in the challenge, and he's sitting here crying right now because the North remembers him with that damn tweet, and then Danny eating him up on Twitter about that too. And
so
look at
did,
where Danny is. Look at where you are, Fessy.
and he
A
won his first.
champion
Exactly, he
and
won
a loser.
one.
A loser.
His first one, he won. An
Come on now.
actual professional athlete.
He
And
actually
That
made it to the NFL,
yeah, he
actually
had
had a career, and
yeah.
actually won a challenge championship. Like,
And like
you could
and that
never.
literally killed his tweet talking about put pro at. And I think I quote tweeted him like, be for real, like, come on now. He's talking about he want pro athletes on the show because he think that they can beat them and shit. Like you just said, look, there's a pro athlete that was on the show who won his first challenge. Case closed. D1 athlete that didn't
that's
make
just
it.
he really be opening his mouth and then tweeting nonsense, and then people just be eating it up like, yeah, no, you didn't eat. I'm so sorry. You thought you ate that? You did not.
He swear he
Uh,
did.
because he didn't eat on the finals, so he could have shut up. Every time I see him, I just want to tell him to shut up because nothing good is coming out of his mouth.
For real.
And the next tweet, I'm gonna go to this tweet because somebody who's on this call tweeted this, and we've been talking about something the whole episode. That Banana's describing Nani as a horse, but she has them horse teeth in her mouth.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
she need them shit shaved down. Like they
Hello.
hanging off of her. I can't. And her
She
face is
can't
so.
close her mouth. Can she close her mouth?
She looks terrible. And I see memes that go on Twitter. I don't even know if it's an actual meme that's been like filtered and like adjusted and stuff, but she looks crazy. Like her teeth are hanging off of her mouth. Like, like it's literally like it's terrible. Like you got all these checks that you get from these shows, and you can't go back to the dentist and have them like shave that shit down because like that's too much. And then her
She went and
face is
got
so
them Bugs
big.
Bunny specials, and she can't go back to Turkey to get it done. You
She
should have never went there in the first place. Like, whew, every time she gonna get me with them teeth. I'm telling you.
is man.
It
I'm
it's a
terrible.
it's a running thing on the show where at least one time an episode, Alicia just starts talking about Nani's teeth.
You can't
It
help notice it.
it's distracting. Like
Beyond.
she's literally opening her mouth, and I'm just seeing like just something just there, and it's just like, put the dentures back in. Like, what is going on?
Man, it is so. It's literally you cannot not see it, and it's hard. Like I try not look. I try not to talk about it all the time, but like just like you be saying, like how you be on here talking about it, I tweet about it. I swear every week. You can't help it. You got to mention it because it's
You
on the
have to.
TV.
You have to.
All
99.
right, and the last tweet it's a lot because Mariah got on Twitter and talked about the treatment that she received from Fessy right after the mini final.
For real.
Basically said that he brought her here and she came super sick, and he said, "Not my partner, not my problem," and he was really talking crazy about her behind her back, saying that he carried her and a lot of different things.
Are we surprised?
Right. Maybe she was.
She the last one to figure it out. Like at some point when there's a lot of people saying the same thing over and over, you may want to have to like believe them and take their word for it. I understand you want to believe the best in people, and that was your friend or what. I don't even believe that, but like that, whoever he was to you in your life, okay, fine. But the fact is like everyone has had the same experience. Friend, foe, enemy, lover, it don't matter. Everyone has the same experience with him, and you thought for some reason you were going to be different. I'm glad that she figured it out.
For real.
And it's funny under that tweet, Colleen tweeted, because you mentioned her earlier. She was like, basically, he fooled people, and she was not okay with being not honest. Um, and she was like, I didn't really care about his past, wasn't her business. But she formed her own opinion, and she learned her own quote messy lesson. So the girl has really been through the mud with Fessy this season, and they now know who this man is.
And it's crazy too, because it's like you can have your relationship off the show with him, but I'm sure you've seen the show, and he's done a couple of them, and he's done the same thing on every single season. So me personally, if I was to end up on the show, knowing that he was on the show, I wouldn't even talk to him. Like, what do I need to speak to you about? Because if I become friends with you, I know you're gonna sit here and dick me over in the end, and then I'm gonna be looking like Boo Boo the Fool because I know that you was gonna do it because I watched you do it year after year after year. And it's like these people, they can't get mad at nobody but themselves, truth be told. Because he shows you who he is. Like, he shows it every season.
Every single time. I know Colleen got cable out there, girl. Watch some damn TV next time and don't get into foolishness, please.
Literally.
No. And that is all the tweets from this episode. It was a joy. It's a pleasure to have you on here, Grant. Our first guest for this season, and it's been fun. It's been a delight.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Please plug your Twitter so that everyone can follow you and see your funny tweets.
My Twitter is what is it? It's funny because my Twitter got suspended like maybe 2 years ago now. Because
tell us.
I tweeted. I don't know if y'all watched that show Floribama Shore. Because Gus,
he
was on a previous season. This was when he was going in on Candace, and his sister was like threatening to beat her ass or whatever. And he said something on Twitter, and I threatened to stomp his face through a curb. And they suspended my Twitter completely, like terminated the shit. So I kept trying to open a new one, and every time I kept trying to open a new account, it would get suspended because I guess I would have like a similar ad, and I guess they were attaching it to the other one. I was like, "Fuck! Like, why is it not working?" But then I had like an old Twitter that I had like when I was like 18, 19 years old, and I still had that one active. I didn't tweet on it or anything. But I just changed that ad to looking for GLOOKIN, the number 4 G 2 E's. Because everybody was looking for my Twitter, and I'm like, here it is. So yeah, that's my Twitter, looking for GLOOKIN, the number 4 G2Es. And yeah, and then I think my Instagram is in the bio. But yeah, if you want to see what I be talking about, I would just be talking random shit. So but thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you for coming on. We enjoyed you. Unlike the show, because I don't know what's gonna happen. We now are in the mid-season finale of season 38, and so we have a few episodes left. We're gonna see the twist and what happens, but honestly, I came into the season having faith. Now it's dwindling down episode by episode. However, we'll be back to talk more about it. You can follow Megan at Megan Hines. You can follow my page at ace_s5. You can follow our Twitter page at Duel Alliance Pod. You can follow our YouTube page at Duel Alliance Podcast as well. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will be back next week to talk more about the challenge. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.